Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today we are taking a look at the expansion to Targi. This is Targi, the expansion. That was easy. In here, you are going to get an entire new deck of tribe cards, and you are going to get a couple of little twists to the base game. This is not a modular expansion. You throw all of this into the original game and remove a few things from it that parts of this replace, okay? So that's basically that. I am not going to be teaching you how to play Targi. If you want to know how to play the original game, you can check out our video for that. This is going to play very much like Targi. So you're getting quite a bit of how this works if you just watch that. If you want to know what's different in here, though, and you already know Targi, then I'm going to go over the different parts, what's included in the box, and then I'll see you on the other side for some final thoughts. So here's everything that comes with the expansion for Targi. You are going to get an entirely new deck of tribe cards, which is going to replace the whole deck from the original game. You are going to get a few new goods cards that are going to get shuffled into the original deck, featuring, as you can see here, water, a new thing featured in the game. You have the water tokens. I hesitate to say this is a new resource because it's not quite that, okay? So water tokens, some new resources, some new victory points, and one new token, gold token, you can add to what's already in the original game. You are going to get a new set of border cards. You're keeping a few when you're playing with the expansion. You keep these that feature just a simple resource, but you're going to replace the rest of them, okay, with this new set here. And then you've got this new deck, the Sand Dune deck, which is a new mechanism, all right? You've also got some tokens here and a new figure, the Targia, which is going to move around the outside, much like the Robber does, but it'll be doing so in the opposite direction, all right? So let me go ahead and give you an idea of how it all works together. Again, I'm not really diving into how Targi goes, and the expansion follows pretty much the rules for Targi, with a few variations. So let's take a look at some of the pieces individually, okay? Water, let's start there. Water is a new thing you can gather. You can get it from here. You can get it from a few of these border cards. Having water is going to help you with a couple of different things. At the end of the game, every 2 water you've got, that's 1 victory point. Also, during the game, for every 2 water, if you want, on your turn, you can cash in 2 water for any 1 resource, or you can cash in 3 water for a gold token, for 1 gold coin. So that's what they do. Very useful, very scarce, so very important in this setting, all right? The border cards, let's take a look at them. They are going to be, for the most part, variations on the things you already know. So this one, for example, the Noble, normally in the original game, it would let you play the one you were holding, the tribe card you were holding, or discard the tribe card you were holding to make room in your hand. You can only hold 1 card. Well, now when you discard, you get 1 water and 1 good of your choice. So a little bit better. And they have different things like that, okay? You're going to get rated, of course. You have your conversion here at the trader. You can trade in water as well. You've got this one used to allow you to go anywhere, move your token anywhere. Now it has to be adjacent to where it is. The silversmith, same thing. Water hole lets you gather water again. This one is much like the original tribal expansion. You get to grab one from the top of the deck and either keep it or play it, or discard it. And now if you want to, you can pay 1 water to keep cycling, keep looking for one you're really hoping to get. And that's basically it. The raids are a little nastier now at the end, but that's basically that. Now you'll notice these corners here show the Robber, but also the Targia figure. And again, they're moving opposite each other around the board. In the original game, the Robber is a spot where you cannot go, and it's a clock in the game as well. Well, the Targia is a spot where you can go, and sometimes you're going to want to go there, because you get a bonus when you share space with this figure. You get one of 2 things. You can take any good you want as a bonus for visiting her, or you can get rid of any bonus of any good you want, and then draw the top card of the goods deck and take that. Fantastic. Maybe I gave up a pepper, get a gold coin. That's a good deal. Let's say I don't like what I flip over. I could discard another good from my supply and flip the next one. Okay, maybe I'll keep that, and so on. You can keep doing that. You obviously only get the final goods card you flip over. So very important and an interesting twist to make one spot a little more desirable, and that spot, of course, keeps moving round to round. So that explains a lot of it. Let's talk briefly about the tribe cards, but it's, again, new powers, new abilities. I'm not going to go into this too much. I'll show you a couple of things. They have a new symbol down here that denotes if the card has an ongoing ability, if it's endgame scoring, or if it has a one-time effect with the little triangle. It's a one-time effect that you trigger when you want to, and that's what these are for. You keep that token on here until you choose to do that, then you remove it. And there are also some that have a lightning bolt, and those are one-time as soon as you play this in front of you. All right? They do all sorts of things, really interesting stuff. There's even some that have extra costs you can choose to pay for extra victory points. So this is just a gold, and it'll be the 2 points. But if I pay this as well, it's worth 4 points at the end of the game. So there you go. All right, and then lastly, and the big change really, is the sand dune cards right here. So let's move these guys out of the way for a sec. So sand dunes, you're going to shuffle them at the beginning of the game, and then you're going to reveal 3. Just like that. And then, on your turn, while you are putting out your figures, you can choose to, let's go ahead and bring these guys out here. You can choose to, instead of going over to one of the border cards, you can visit one of these sand dune cards. Just go right on it. Okay, nobody else can go there. Obviously, if someone is there, you cannot go there. And then while you are resolving all of your effects, you will resolve that, and then it'll be discarded. Now, you're giving up a border effect, and you're giving up a place where 2 figures intersect, right? So you're giving up one of these as well. But these sand dune cards are very powerful. So this one gives you 1 victory point, of course, 2 goods. You can see that one there. This one here lets you use the action of any border card, whether it's occupied or not, and then you get a goods token as well. All sorts of things. This one gives you 1 good token for every blank text card. 2 victory points. 1 of each thing and another. This one here lets you reload one of your one-time cards with another one of these triangles, so you can trigger it again. And so on and so on. They have all sorts of powers. It's really strong stuff. So again, you're giving up some things to go here, but they are very strong. You have to figure out when you want to do it, if you want to do it. These are also not replenished. This is going to, if you use one of the 3 available, so let's say we've got these, and you use one, it's not replenished. Even if we're down to 1, it's not replenished. If there are none at the beginning of a turn, then we'll draw 1, and they are all cycled and replenished to 3 every time the robber hits, i.e. every time she crosses one of the corner cards as well. So that's when you can expect to see new sand dune cards. So there you go. This kind of takes all the elements from Targi and remixes it up a little bit. It's the same gumbo, but with different amounts of the same ingredients. All right? Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, that is Targi, the expansion. Let's talk about this, shall we? This is an interesting box. This has been out for a long time, from what I understand, just not in English. And finally, it's available in English. It's an interesting expansion because at its core, it feels less like an expansion to a game that you add in if you're playing with advanced players, remove if you want to introduce your basic game to someone. It feels less like that and more like Targi 2.0. That's how this feels. This feels like it brings Targi up to speed with more modern sort of mechanisms and a little more diversity in the way the game develops, that sort of thing. Now, I love Targi, so don't take this the wrong way as thinking that this fixes Targi. I'm not saying that at all. But let's go ahead and dive into it, okay? So a couple of things that I'm just not sure how I feel. The first one, theme, gets a middle of the road grade for me because this was never an exciting theme in the first place. It's still not particularly exciting, okay? It's just not that captivating. The theme is there, it's okay. If it really is the kind of theme you enjoy, then consider this a thumbs up. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think it's whiz-bang kind of theme. And then the other thing is replay value. And again, the reason for that is not because what's in here is not replayable. It's not because what's in here isn't captivating. It's because if you are someone, and there's many folks like this, that gets a base game and an expansion at the same time, right? You enjoy that feeling. I don't know if you're going to be completely thrilled about the fact that you'll discover this expansion to be less of something you add to the core game and more of sort of gutting the original game and replacing most of what was there without introducing a bunch of new rules, because it's kind of the same game. So I think what I'm trying to say is this expansion is for someone who has played a ton of Targi and is ready for Targi 2.0. Okay? If that's you, I think you've heard everything you need to hear here. Go get it. Okay? This is fantastic. But let's go ahead and keep breaking it down. So aesthetics. Some improvement here that are nice. Some iconography improvements. Again, it feels a little more modern. Some things have been done to improve the usability of the package. The game arc, fantastic, and this is probably my biggest thumbs up here. There are now more opportunities for unexpected surprises, for swings, for reversals, for clever play. The original game had tons of that. Now with the dune cards, the desert cards, and some of the powers that some of the new tribe cards have, you can definitely be blindsided by clever play from your opponent. You can definitely see neat combos and things you might be able to, pull off if you play your cards, so to speak, just right. Great. I love it. It really seems to take the original game and open it up just a little more, which is fantastic. The ease of play. It's very high. You basically know how to play this already if you know how to play Targi. They are adding 2 tiny mechanisms. The water and the sand dunes. That's it. Other than that, you know how to play this already. That's why it kind of feels like a 2.0. And then lastly, tactics, strategy, luck, all that stuff's very much the same as in the original one. You will rediscover combos in this game. You will rediscover how things will interact, how to mess with your opponents, how to make sure you're getting what you want. But the clever mechanisms coupled with the clever tactics and reactions, coupled with, playing well for yourself and playing against your opponent, that's all there. The game is very strategic and highly tactical as well. I think this is a fantastic game. And therefore, I think this is a fantastic expansion to the game, okay? My only concern, again, is I think this is not the kind of expansion that I would say, oh yeah, this is for everybody. I don't think so. I would say this is just for people who have played the game a ton and are ready for a refresh. This doesn't feel like most expansions. If you have never played Targi, I would not necessarily say pick up Targi and throw in the expansion while you're at it. No, just get Targi. Play that. You've got years of play in that, okay? And then this is kind of a refresh, right? Part of my brain also wants to say, get both, and once you play this, you're not going to go back. But then you're kind of paying twice as much for Targi, right? So there you go. That's kind of where my head is at right now with this game. I love it, though. I think it's a fantastic expansion. I'm so glad this is available in English. I've always heard good things about it, and you know what? They were right. This is a slam dunk. I personally don't think I'll ever play Targi without it. This truly feels like an evolution of the core game, and not one I need to separate out to teach new players. So, this is going to get a 9 out of 10 from me, which means it's going to get a seal of excellence. It might even have been higher if I didn't have those issues with, is it an expansion, is it not an expansion, existential sort of discussion with myself. But again, I think you're going to enjoy it one way or the other. So 9 out of 10 for Targi, the expansion here. Thanks everybody for checking this out with me. I'm Z Garcia, and I'll see you on the next one.